friends, welcome back to Living by Faith Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Tracy. If you're returning, I appreciate it so much. This was supposed to be where you would see Vlogmas Day 16. As I mentioned in two previous videos that are already uploaded, because I'm just now working on this one, it's given me fits. And I've just written 15 off completely. But I had trouble getting my videos to download. Now, the only thing I could download for day 16 was 4 pictures. They were pictures of when I went back home to visit a friend of mine on the 16th, which was Friday. And so this is just basically going to be a recap with those pictures hopefully inserted at the appropriate times, so it won't just be you looking at my face the whole time. But basically what it was I got up. I had planned on going to see her on the 16th. I wanted to see her. She's a dear old friend. She's 90 years old, and I've known her since I lived back home. She lived down the street from my parents. And I planned on going back to see her before the holiday, before her family descended on her for the holiday, because they were supposed to come on the following Tuesday and stay until after Christmas, and then getting into bad weather, and I knew I wouldn't get to see her. I'd like to see her before New Year's too, but I don't see it happening. Not with her family there, weather conditions that are possible. So I went back to see her and spent a day with her, and I know I'm going to spend as much of the day with her as I could, considering that the day gets dark earlier now. So I got up very early, took care of my morning clients. We usually start getting daylight here a little bit before 7-ish in the morning. So I was out before daylight, right before daylight, taking care of cleaning the coop and doing the water and food for the chickens, and securing their run, which they were not too happy about me and Chiggy leaving the homestead, because they weren't allowed out in the yard while I was gone. I don't allow them to go out into their chicken yard, because a little Beagle down the road is still showing some curiosity for the flock. So I didn't want there to be something awful to come back to. So I secured their run, secured their coop, and I went ahead and left the Energizer shocker on their fencing as like an extra added protection. So when I went out to clean the coop, let me back up a little bit. My girls went through a very hard, very serious molt that started in late August. They, the oldest ones will be 4 in March. They had never, any of them, gone through this kind of molt in their life. I mean, they were almost, for lack of a better word, naked, you know. And they finally got their feathering back about a month ago, not quite a month. Completely stopped laying eggs. Now, when they molted before, they wouldn't lay as regularly, but they would lay one here, one there. That's why I'm saying this molt hit them hard. They completely stopped cold in their tracks on egg laying. I had put back, I'd water glassed several gallons, well, half gallons, jars of eggs. I did some in April, some in June, and some in August. I kind of spread them out. And not as many in August, of course, because that molt hit them real hard, real fast. It came hard and fast. And so I was getting down to the last of my water glassed eggs. I think I got 2 half gallons left. And if you know anything about the half gallon and eggs in them, I don't think there's quite 2 dozen per gallon. I was starting to freak out, because I thought, oh, now is not the time to have to be paying $4 or $5 for a dozen of eggs. So when I went out to clean the coop Friday before I left, imagine my surprise when I found an egg. You never heard anyone yell and carry on like I did. I was like, oh, please don't let this just be a fluke. Please let them be going back to laying at least every now and then. So it started my day off really good for my trip. So we went ahead. We left the house about 7:30, because I knew I didn't want to leave any later than that. And it takes about an hour and a half to get there if I don't run into any traffic. And I got there, and it was a really nice visit. And as always, when I go, I look in her refrigerator. Her refrigerator was not very well stocked. She said, well, that's because I've got company coming in, this, that, and the other thing. I said, well, if you got company coming, you need to have it stocked, not unstocked. So I said, let's take you to the grocery store, because she doesn't like to go by herself. And she really doesn't like to drive if she doesn't have to. I mean, she can, but she chooses not to anymore and she has to. So I talked her into it. And we took her to Kroger, and that's also where she gets her prescriptions at. And she had a prescription that she'd been needing to pick up. So we took care of that. And then on the way home, we got some Long John Silvers, and we enjoyed a nice late lunch together. It was really nice. It was kind of a rush late lunch because I had to start back by 4:30, because that was the latest I could get back, because it would be dark when I got home, because I usually close up the coop about 5:30. So I knew it'd be dark. I knew I was pushing my luck. You know, anytime I close the coop later than 5:30, I feel like I'm pushing my luck. We have had some evidence of predators on the back hill lately here and there. And late last summer, I had a raccoon tippy-toeing on the roof of the run in the coop. So I had to figure out a way of securing the latch on the door with something, because I have read that they can open latches and everything. So I didn't want to take any chances. I figure if I'm going to have a predator problem, it's going to be during the winter when it's cold. So we had a real late lunch, and we spent some more time together. And while I was there, she lives in a condo in I wouldn't call it a senior community. It's just because they have people there who it's supposed to be 55 and older, and they've got people there with families. So I don't know what's going on with it. But she lives in a nice community where they have 4 one-level condos in a square, which they call pods. Well, her square of pods backs up to the railroad tracks that goes through the town where I used to live. So she hears, I mean, it's hard for me when I go and stay all night with her and one of those late trains come through, because it is the loudest stuff in the world. Well, right before we started to eat, I heard a train coming through, and I thought, well, I'm going to look at it and see what's on it. I'm always curious. Lo and behold, there was coal on this train. Now, I have been hearing how no one's using coal, no one's moving coal. Coal is an old thing. It's against the climate, blah, 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 blah. This train was loaded with coal. Now, where the train tracks go through the town, it has to make a real sharp curve, and then it splits off. Well, it always has to slow down to a complete stop for so long before it hits that curve in case something else is coming. So that's when I got the picture, when it was stopped. And every one of those cars, I didn't get another picture of it, but I walked over and looked down the line, and every car was heaping full of coal. Now, this coal comes from Logan County, because this is based in West Virginia. And it's going up towards Charleston. I don't know why they bring it down and take it up towards Charleston. I don't understand. But the way I understand it, it comes from Logan, swings around somehow, and goes up to Charleston. And I'm wondering why there's so much coal moving, because whenever I go to see her, there's a train that comes through that's loaded with coal. Undeniably, every time. And I'm wondering where all this coal's going. If we're not using coal, where's it going? There's been talk that we've been shipping our coal overseas rather than using it ourselves. Could this be where it's going? To a port? Who knows? But it's just food for thought. So, like I said, we had our lunch. We visited a little bit longer, and I headed back about almost 4:30. Real nice drive back. It seemed like it got dark fast. It didn't, but I felt like I was rushing the clock, and I just kept watching and watching as it got darker and darker. But the one thing about when it gets dark here in the Appalachian Mountains is the colors, the sky. And I got a few snapshots, which I'll put in here, insert here, that show just how beautiful the sky can be where I live. It's unbelievable. Like the opening picture of my videos that says Living by Faith Homestead with the pink sky, that is not filtered. That is not doctored. That was the sky when I snapped that photo. The pictures that I inserted here is the color of the sky when I snapped the photo. Unbelievable and breathtaking. It was never, where I lived in West Virginia, I don't remember seeing that. Maybe I just didn't pay attention. But here, the skies can be absolutely beautiful. Unbelievable. So basically, that's what Vlogmas Day 16 was, and a recap where you have to look at my ugly mug. But I was able to pull those 4 pictures off for the video, and I wanted to include them. But I appreciate you listening to my rambling and my explanation, and I'm hoping that this doesn't happen again. Like I said, don't look for day 15. It's gone. I wiped my hands of it. I don't know what to do. I'm frantic. I even had my 12-year-old cousin look at it to see if he could figure out. Well, not 12. I don't know how old he is. But I even went to him and asked him if he knew how he could figure out how to get it off, and he was at a loss. So if he can't figure it out, I figure I'm not going to figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. And I still have to edit and probably voiceover number 19, because there's a few things I did, and Chiggy was in a fussy mood yesterday, and so I'll probably voice it over. If not, I'm going to put it to music. I mean, I'm not going to have him in there fussing. He had a rough day yesterday, so he has those every now and then. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me ramble, for tuning in for another video, and from my homestead to your home, blessings, and enjoy life. Bye, guys.